With that down, let's now move on to our final main topic today. Chris, what is our fifth and final main red lightsaber-like topic today?
Final topic coming from Fey Dolandson. Hi, everyone. Nothing else matters in the world right now than Rey wielding a red lightsaber. Nothing else is worth talking about. Okay, maybe I'm a little hyper about it, but what did you think of that? Will it actually be in the movie, or is this Hulk and Infinity War situation where it's just one big misdirect? Do you guys think this is real?
Well, listen, I was in that cinematic presentation, the Disney theatrical presentation yesterday. The Disney Plus presentation was the day before. That was Friday? Yeah, that was Friday. And that was spectacular. Little underwhelmed by the Disney cinematic presentation, both by Marvel and by Lucasfilm, to be honest with you. I was kind of hoping to hear a little bit more. I mean, overall, Star Wars, they talked about the Cassian Andor show, which was good, but they didn't even tell us the title. I mean, come on. D23 happens once every couple of years. You can't even tell us a title? I mean, come on, Kevin Feige. Okay, the release date for Black Panther 2. This is D20. This only happens every couple of years. Can you give us a little bit? Anyway, I was a little bit underwhelmed overall. There were some very good highlights of the Disney theatrical presentation at D23. But overall, especially considering how good the Disney Plus presentation was, I felt a little bit underwhelmed, including by both the Marvel and, quite frankly, the Star Wars presentation. The highlight, actually, besides the Rey red lightsabers, was Alan Tudyk being on stage talking about the upcoming Cassian Andor show, and they talked about titles. Alan Tudyk, who of course voices K2SO, he suggested a title for Kathleen Kennedy, said, I would like to recommend that we title the show K2 Fast, K2 Furious.
Yeah.
which is gold right there. It's absolute gold. Then they gave us this clip that they're now playing online, and some people are calling a trailer. Look, I predicted they would give us a Star Wars Episode 9 trailer at D23. And while everybody else is running around saying they've put out the Star Wars trailer, let me tell you right now, I was wrong. That's not a trailer. And they even said, JJ even said, now what we're about to show isn't a trailer. This is just a little, we just wanted to show you guys something, so we whipped this together. So it's not a trailer. I thought it would be a trailer. I was wrong. Thank you to everybody out there trying to make it look like I was right and calling it a trailer, but I was wrong. It wasn't a trailer, but still. And it was basically a lot of footage of old Star Wars movies highlighting that this is the end of the saga kind of stuff. And then about 30 seconds of new little clips, but no real dialogue, just quick, rapid, some images just to show us they've got something. But a couple of the images really stood out to me. And the one you gotta talk about that got the entire place jumping and everybody all of a sudden springing out of their seats going, what the hell? And I remember being in that panel, this image came up, and I immediately tweeted out Rey with double-bladed lightsabers and what looks like a Sith cloak. And out of the hundreds of responses that I got within 30 seconds, half of them were "you're lying" and "what the hell." What the hell and "you're lying" were the most popular responses to what I was putting out here. And this was clearly the shot. And this is what's got everybody talking. Now, we'll talk about this shot here in particular in just a second. One of the other shots in that footage that they showed that I do not hear anybody talking about, and this is, to me, was almost as interesting as this image right here. And that was this. The image of the Star Destroyers. Okay. It's Star Destroyers. I mean, yeah.
Old school.
Look cool. Yeah. These don't look like, and nobody's talking about this. These are not First Order Star Destroyers.
Nope.
These are Imperial Star Destroyers. This is Palpatine-era Star Destroyers. And that's the part to me that went, whoa! Are we about to see a Hobbit-like Battle of the Five Armies, except instead of 5, it's 3? Are we about to see the battle of the 3 militaries? Are we about to see the Resistance, or now the Rebellion Reborn, versus the First Order versus the Empire? Are we going to see 2 of them teaming up against a third? Could we see First Order and the Rebellion teaming up against the Empire? I mean, just this one image sparks a whole bunch of thoughts and ideas in my head that, quite frankly, get me quite excited. But we'll talk about that.
Excited?
Oh, yeah, excited. We'll talk about that in just a second. let's go back to hear this thing about Rey and the lightsaber. Now, ever since this came up, there has been a lot of discussion going around online about what is this that we're seeing, right? What is this that we're seeing? And there were three main theories going around, and I want to introduce a fourth. The three main theories were, number one, as they brought up in the message, it's a misdirect. It's a Hulk in the Infinity War trailers like misdirect. This is not in the movie. I'll say this to that. I can't believe that for a second. I can't believe that for a second. Because you show something like this, which is not just a cool shot. This is a narrative bending kind of moment. Hulk being a part of the charging group in Infinity War, that not being in the movie doesn't actually change the narrative of the story. It's just that, yeah, that exact same is happening. It's just he's not there. That's a big... If Lucasfilm were to pull this, by putting this in a piece of promotional marketing, and it not even being in the movie, like all of San Francisco would burn, which I believe is still where Lucasfilm's headquarters are. All of San Francisco would burn. There is no way anybody, new fans, old fans, whatever, there is no way anybody would accept this. That can't happen. So I believe 100% that this is not a pure Hulk in the Infinity War style misdirect. I don't buy that. The second prominent theory is this is a key important moment of the movie. Something very significant happens, perhaps revealing what Darth Sidious or Palpatine's intentions are towards Rey. He wants his new Skywalker. He wants his new apprentice, blah, blah, blah. That's it. So this is a serious key narrative in the movie right here. The third and possibly most popular theory that's going around is that this is indeed in the movie, but it's a dark vision of what things could be. Whether it's a dark vision as being told by Palpatine of what he plans for Rey, or a nightmare sequence of Rey fearing what she may become, something like a Luke down in the Dark Force cave in Empire Strikes Back, you know, something along those lines. It's a dark vision of something that could be, but it's not real. So option one, it's all a misdirect. This isn't in the movie. I don't think we have to worry about that. Option two, the most popular one right now, it's a dark vision. Is there as well. Or the other one is that it's really a part narrative of the movie. I want to suggest a fourth possibility, though, and that is this. The moment the Emperor was brought up as being in Episode 9, a lot of people started talking about cloning. You know, in extended universe stuff, cloning has been a core part of the Emperor's long-range plans. So I want to suggest that there is a possibility here that what we are looking at is neither real, as in this is a key part of the movie, nor is it a dark vision, but perhaps a clone, a dark side clone of Rey. I just want to suggest that. Now, Rob, before we go and get to your thing, I just want to mention, since we're talking about these different options, I made that the topic of today's question of the day. So over on my Twitter, which you can follow me on Twitter simply at John Campea, I put up the question just before we started the show, is that Rey with the red lightsabers, what are we looking at here? And I gave you guys four options. Misdirect, not in the movie. Really happens, just a dark vision, or Rey is a clone. Right now, there are still almost 10% of you, 9% of you are thinking this isn't even the movie. This is not even in the movie, and almost 3,000 of you guys have registered to vote for this already. 14% of you says, yes, this really happens in the movie, and it's a significant real part of the movie. Overwhelming majority of you guys, 61% of you feel that this is just a dark vision, whether it's a dark dream of Rey's or something like in the machinations of Palpatine talking about what he wants to see happen. And 16% of you are kind of going where I'm going, where this is a dark clone of Rey. So, guys, I've got this again up on my Twitter. You can go over there. I'm going to keep this poll up for the rest of the day. Go over and register your vote there for that. Rob, it's certainly a Sports Center highlight of the night kind of moment. It was all the buzz of D23 at that moment. A lot of possibilities here. So let me put it to you. We see Rey with the red lightsabers. Is it? Do you have a particular leaning as to which one of those 4 options we're looking at? Or do you think there's other options that we're not even considering of what we could be looking at? How do you see it?
Well, I'm with you. I think the combination of the Star Destroyers, I mean, there's been the rumors, people have been talking about the Emperor. If you go back and you look at a lot of the EU stuff, all the way back to the Dark Empire comics, and the Emperor cloning himself, I think it makes sense. You know, that the Emperor, I mean, the Emperor, cloning, like you said, was a big part of, I remember before Empire Strikes Back came out, I would read these, there were a lot of, like, one-off film magazines and speculations about what was going to happen in Empire, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was some people, I'll never forget this theory, that OB1, not Obi-Wan, but OB1 was a clone number. A clone designation that Obi-Wan Kenobi was actually a clone.
I remember that.
And I always thought that was kind of cool. And I'll bet you, because look, if it's a clone, it fits into what's been going on. What's been going on in science fiction lately? Whether it's Battlestar Galactica, whether it's Blade Runner, whether it's Westworld, the idea of who is real, do artificial people and clones have souls, all of these kinds of things. And if Rey confronts herself, come on. I mean, if she finds out that her parents that don't matter because she's a clone. What if you find out that Rey doesn't have parents? Or, you know, she's part of genetic manipulation and she finds out that she was seeded across the galaxy, that there's a bunch of different Reys. I mean, there's so many really interesting science fiction concepts they could go with this, and this film has got to be epic. They've really got to delve into some heady concepts. They've got to make this movie epic, and if Palpatine shows up, whether he's possessing Matt Smith, whatever the hell he's doing, if he shows up with a fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers and like, you know, this First Order stuff's fine, but let me show you how it's done. and we get this film could be epic. It's what this series needs. This never in history has a film needed to stick the landing the way this movie does. And you know, there's a lot riding on this film, and we need to see a lot. And what if the clones are Skywalkers? What if it's all part of the Skywalker bloodline? What if the Skywalkers have been the ones, and the rise of Skywalker is you're going to find out that there are hundreds of Skywalkers that are going to be released onto the galaxy that are either going to help it or whatever. And the rise of Skywalker is there's your new power structure. And it's not just one person or two people. It's a generation of cloned Skywalkers that are going to bring balance to the Force and the galaxy. I don't know.
It's an interesting concept here, and we've talked about that before. It is kind of nuts when you're looking at stuff like this. Chris, you see this shot, you see the red lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. What's the first and most likely scenario that pops up in your head?
I mean, I love this clone theory because then we kind of can do a Terry McGinnis situation here, like Batman Beyond, right? Where it's not enough to have the genes and the DNA. You also have to create the environment. So if you want to create a Batman, you got to, you know, murder some parents and set some stuff up. If you want to create an Anakin Skywalker, make sure that kid hates sand, you know?
I think what's the show, by the way? What the big popular show with the girl where she's got like 20 different clones or
Orphan Black.
Yeah. Orphan Black, yeah. So I like the sound. There's a little bit of an Orphan Black in Star Wars.
That's the first thing I was thinking too. I mean, how do you toughen up a character? You put that character in an environment like you just said, with a backstory that they don't understand. I mean, what is any story? Clone stories, all the way back to the beginning, is they're looking for, I want more life, Father. Who am I? What am I? Why am I here? And if that's the big reveal, bring it on. By the way, we've probably now just made Rise of Skywalker more interesting than it's actually going to turn out to be. But, I mean, I could see that it fits in with the whole idea of the trilogy. You know, the idea that people are cloned, what does it mean for them? They've delved into this a little with the different clone warriors, the clone officers, the clone troopers. I think it's a great idea, and how shocking would it be if Darkseid fully realized Rey comes out and confronts, little I don't know who I am Rey waiting for my parents on Jakku Rey, when you find out that she was dumped there specifically to mold her to be a certain kind of a person.
Exactly.
How
I
about
think it'd be
that?
so cool.
There's a lot of
be really
possibility. But I just want to throw one other thing here too. I didn't have an image here, but one of the images in the footage they showed was of C-3PO sitting up with his eyes glowing red, which if you read the Dr. Aphra comics in Star Wars, there's a couple of murderous droids that are basically very much C-3PO and R2-D2, only they're different characters. And their whole desire in programming in life is to be mass murderers and to kill as many people as possible. And he's got the one from Dr. Aftra has the glowing red eyes. Now, this is C-3PO, not that character. But as soon as I saw that, that's immediately where my mind went. It's like, oh, this could be interesting. And we've seen other shots of C-3PO with like weapons and like firing weapons. So I'm just wondering if they're going to go into that batch of programming that's in the Dr. Aftra droid as well. Maybe they could be going into that.
By the
He
way,
is
as
no
an
longer
aside,
made to suffer.
Speaking of murderous droids, can we talk about Taika Waititi's IG-11? Because watching him kick some ass and fire those weapons,
With the
man,
guns pointing both
I am
way.
in 100%.
So
Sorry, I know
excited.
that has nothing to do with what we're talking about now. But
Yeah.
wow, I
Also,
can't wait.
That's how busy today's been. We haven't even had a
Yeah.
chance to talk Mandalorian. We'll talk Mandalorian in the upcoming future for sure. But question here, guys, is what do you make of this imagery that we see coming out here for Star Wars Episode 9 and Rey with red lightsabers and all that kind of? Are those classic era Star Stories? Sure looks like it to me. What do you think about the glowing red as a C-3PO? What do you think about the clone theory? Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. And I got to agree with Rob. I mean, look, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I like The Last Jedi. It's my least favorite of all the new Star Wars movies, but I like it. But with the divisiveness of The Last Jedi, I mean, they gotta stick to it. They have to. I would go so far as to say that their future plans with Star Wars almost hinge on, it doesn't have to be the best Star Wars movie ever made. It doesn't even have to be as good as the original trilogy. But this better be the best one you've made out of all the new batch. And I love The Force Awakens. Love it. But I think this has got to be better than that. I think they've got to really hammer this down, or else moving forward, they're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a real hard. You put out two big divisive films in a row, you're going to have a hard time moving forward. And I agree with what you just said, Rob. I think they absolutely have to stick this landing. What do you guys think about that? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.